Hi, I'm Thomas Sapp, and this is my briefing on techniques on how to lead an effective meeting. There are numerous reasons of why you want to lead an effective meeting, and I'll go over a couple main points. We'll talk about what an effective meeting leads to, what are the outcomes and what you want to get to, and what you want to come to. But three of the main points we want to talk about to lead the effective meeting and the techniques that lead to those meetings are only argue the points that you feel very strongly about. We'll talk about why we want to do that. We'll go a little bit more in depth on that later. Um, and the next one is don't change your mind because someone is arguing with you. Um, we'll get into a little bit more of that as well, and we'll see how that can change the whole outcome of the meeting and of the purpose to begin with. And that's where we'll go with that. And the last point is involve everyone in the meeting. You want to get everybody involved so everybody feels like their voice is heard. And we'll talk about what that can do with the outcome of the meeting. And then we'll go more in depth. But first, we'll just talk a little bit about what is an effective meeting. An effective meeting is one that has the outcome of when you go in with a purpose of even holding that meeting, you get the correct outcome that you needed. So this is how we will go about, and we'll talk about the techniques that are used to lead to getting that specific outcome that you look to get and that you really strive to get and that you need. The first point is only argue the points that you feel so strongly about. You're probably asking yourself, why would I only argue the points that I feel so strongly about? Why not about the ones that I might feel strongly about, but I really don't know. I'm kind of on the fence. You don't want to come off as an arguer, and that's one of the main things. Is if you just if you can't really make a great point on why you feel so strongly about something, you're going to come off just thinking that you're up there just to argue and that you want to get your way. So that's why you'll need that. Another reason is you don't want to seem kind of wish-washy on this point, because at that time people will kind of take you less seriously about what you're trying to do, and really go away from it, and they really won't listen. In the end outcome just won't be as good. The next one is don't change your mind to avoid conflict. That's another one you're asking why. Is everybody always wants to avoid conflict in situations where you may think you're wrong or you're right. You may think that other person's wrong, but when they start talking to you and they immediately challenge your point of view on something, you may have the initial reaction to immediately go away from standing strong on your ground, and moving away from your initial point. The main reason why you want to stay strong and not change your opinion on why, just to avoid conflict, you may be 100% right. That's one of the biggest things. You may be right about that. So you may be holding a meeting. It may be a sales meeting, and you may make a comment while you're holding this meeting that we need to carry a specific product because that's going to take us to the next level. Somebody else could chime in and say, absolutely not, that'll just tank the company, it won't do any good, nothing will sell. And then next thing you know, you avoid that conflict, and then your competitor picks up that product, and next thing you know, their sales have gone up 50%, and you're sitting over here stagnant. That's just an example of why you don't want to change your mind just to avoid conflict. There are many ways that you can go and try to change that person's attitude or involve them more into understanding why they think so strongly against what you were trying to bring out of them. So this is one of those that you gotta stand strong by your point and make sure you know exactly what you're bringing to it. So that's where it goes back to argue with the points you feel so strongly about. So make sure it's a point that you feel strongly about, and then don't change your mind just to avoid conflict. You've got to stand your ground with those people. You've got to be firm. You've got to make sure that you're getting your point across without somebody else coming in and casting doubt upon what you're really trying to do. And that will in turn make sure that the meeting that you're trying to carry will get the outcome that you desire. Third and last point that I want to discuss is involve everyone in the meeting, even if it is the person that disagrees with you. If you want to be able to move forward with making a point or getting a new initiative for the company, you've got to get everyone involved, because if you don't get everyone involved, the end result may turn out bad. Everybody may leave the meeting and say yes, they're okay, but in the end they may not carry on what you tried to convey in the meeting and what you really tried to make a point of and push forward. They may bring a valid argument against it. That's something that you overlooked. So it goes back to don't change your mind to avoid conflict. You can avoid, you don't have to avoid the conflict, but they may bring a valid argument that shows you why you were wrong. So it goes back to the argument of, hey, now I can look forward, we can move forward, and the outcome of the meeting will be just as what you went into, but a little bit different, but you will get the same outcome as you aren't going to move forward in a wrong direction. Now you're still moving in the right direction, but you involve someone differently, and they were able to change your ways or change your idea about how to go about something. So that's one of the big things. Listen to their arguments, listen to their ideas. Everybody has great ideas. You may learn something in turn. So that's the end of the 3 points that I had. We want to go back and talk about them a little bit more again. Is only argue the points that you feel strongly about. Don't change your mind just to avoid conflict, and involve everyone around you. You really want to hold an effective meeting. You want to use those 3 techniques to achieve the outcome that you're trying to get. You walk into every single meeting when you lead a meeting, and you want to. Everybody has an outcome towards the end. So using these 3 techniques can help achieve that purpose of why you went into the meeting to begin with, and how you were able to do it. So that's why I want to look at those 3 and move forward. I hope everybody was able to learn a little bit about everything today that I spoke about. How to lead an effective meeting and the techniques that are used to achieve that. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section, and I can talk to you a little bit about this. And I hope everybody has a great day.